Good afternoon and welcome to another Thursday Live. I am very excited because today I have a very special person joining me. Next to me is Reinette van Aswegen. So when we moved to St. Francis Bay, she has been like an anchor, assisting me with workshops in the St. Francis store, being an amazing creative artist, an amazing creative person. She has enriched my life so much, and it's lovely to even experience that friendships can be built at times when you think you can't find new friends. So it's lovely to have you with me. It's lovely to, it's a huge pleasure to have you in my life. I'm very privileged. I actually don't know what Reinette has up her sleeves today. If you want to follow her, her social media handle is Reinette-art. I'm just going to be the sous chef, Reinette. You're going to shunt me around and tell me what to do, okay?
That's great. So let's start.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so today we are going to do something different with pouring. Take pouring to another level, just not mixture of paint on a canvas. We are going to create something beautiful out of a pouring. Can I show them?
Yeah, please.
So this is what we are going to create today. So we poured this, the background and the flowers with balloons and with gloves. Couldn't get the word. And then we created an art piece with it, with pens, drawing on it and just making it pretty. So what we're going to start with is with our background. So this background, we poured the background so that we can manipulate the paint with the balloons or with the gloves so that it can spread easily. So firstly, we are going to use my favorite Tjhoko color, David, because you can do anything with it. So what we're going to do is we are going to use a little bit of this.
I have spoons and forks and knives if you need any.
Well, we're going to eyeball it today.
Okay.
A heap of this, and then
I
we'll...
like that.
Yeah, and then we'll see. So with pouring, we are using the glaze to pour that with. The consistency that you want for a pouring for the background is a very watery consistency. If it's too thick, the paint won't, you won't be able to manipulate it, it won't move. So you needed a little bit of like a runny consistency for the back. So it's got a cap, so we're going to use the cap as needed. So half a cup, we'll see. If it's not watery enough, we can always add some more. So then we are going to mix it. And the mixing takes a little bit of time, if you can see, because... Let's take a spoon. We want it with no lumps. If we have lumps in our background, then it will make the balloons make the big lumps, and that's not nice.
But I think even the step before you can do any of this, you need to eat yogurt and a lot of it.
Yeah, you can see. We're on a staple diet of yogurt. So this is the exact consistency what you want. You want it runny like this. Okay. But we've got a big canvas here, so let's take some more paint. Otherwise, we won't have enough. So let's do this whole process again.
And that's also the fun part of being in the process. Everything is a process, and you actually need to trust the process.
Exactly. And the thing is, there's no right or wrong. Everybody's got their own recipe for mixing their paint, mixing their pouring liquid, or whatever. So it's not set in stone. What works for you works for you. With practice, you will see after a while, this is what I like.
Yeah.
And I'll use that.
And I also think what is so nice about the community, the Tjhoko paint community, is the fact that everyone so freely shares.
Yes.
And I learn all the time. So there's no point where you are actually where you've reached a stage where you can think or even have that thought that I can't learn or can't experience new things.
The thing now is I've got my background colors mixed, but I don't want my paint to stand a long time because otherwise I don't want it to set. So what I'm going to do is I've got my background color mixed. So I'm going to choose the colors that I'm going to use for my flowers and mix the mixtures along so that when I'm ready, I can just go from the one color to the next color and make it.
Okay, but I can help you with that.
Right, so which colors are we going to use? You can choose them.
Okay, so we need a light.
Yes.
And we need a dark.
Yeah.
And I like, can we only select 2?
Yes, no, you can select 3. Let's put that one with.
Okay, because the, is it just red?
Just red.
That will give some excitement.
Exactly. So if you look at the colors, it's colors that's closely together on the color wheel. That if you use them together, it will be pleasing with the eye. If we put a black in there, it will not, it will stand out too much and the flowers won't look very nice like that. So let's do this. So we don't use so much. You can taste just a teaspoon.
Just 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, 1 teaspoon.
Okay.
There you go.
Is that enough?
That's enough. We'll
Okay.
see. And then we
So
add
that's just red, right?
just red. And we use some of that.
And lovely Lorinda, how much glaze did you pour in there?
With this one, I made it 1 to 1.
Did I do this?
Yes, you can do this. So 1 to 1. You can see the consistency is a little bit watery, so we'll add just a little bit more paint. If it's watery is like this, if we're going to use a balloon or a glove, what's going to happen is going to be just pushed around and you won't get any patterns.
Like I say, it needs to be more solid than watery.
More solid than watery. So let's mix the background. We want nice and watery, but not this one. Yeah, that one will do. Okay. What's nice about these little pots, if you've got a half a pot left, and you just mix it in the pot. And you use it like that, that also works very nice.
Then you don't need to eat yogurt.
Then you don't have to eat as much yogurt as we do, yeah.
Alright.
That's perfect. So let's mix the last one.
Do you need a more? I have containers.
Do you have containers? Yeah. Get another container for the last color. Okay, then we've got our 3 colors.
I will mix this one and then you can explain it.
Okay. So now to use your, to make the little flowers, you need a balloon or a glove. I'm going to use both because I'm going to show you the difference between the glove and the balloon. So let's do this. Mustn't pop this one. Okay. So this is the balloon. When we use our glove, we just blow it up like this. And we manipulate it like that, so you don't have to blow up the glove.
Are you happy with this?
That's fine. Let's pour a little bit more.
Glaze.
Glaze, a little bit glaze.
There was actually a lot of glaze in here I had to throw back. It was a bit of a mistake. I was so glad that Kaylee was focused on you. Okay, is this better?
That's better.
Okay.
Okay.
So
now I've got our 3 colors. There you go.
happy.
Happy.
Okay.
It's going to be beautiful.
Alright.
Alright, so this is now our big, for the background. I always place my canvas on 2 buckets of yogurt so that it can drip off. What happens then, if you put it on a table or a surface, you get that little excess and then it dries hard and then it doesn't look very nice. So we don't want that. Okay, so we are going to put our, it's like that.
Oh, that looks so nice.
Okay, you know, all you do is you spread it like this.
Well, you had enough, you should mix more.
Let's see. You always get, let's make it a little bit more, I think.
I can do that.
And that's the beauty of this process, that if you don't have enough, well, then we make more. And it never goes to waste. with, because there's always things lying around at home that you can pour. So as you can see, I'm just spreading it. It doesn't even have to be spreading evenly. You can just spread it. So that well, look at that. You almost don't need more. Oh,
but this you can store in an airtight container because it's only glaze and paint. We didn't add any water here, so there's nothing that can actually contaminate this.
That's actually a good point. With Tjhoko paint, you don't need to add water. If you add too much water, it's so runny that you can't manipulate it with a balloon or with a glove. With normal acrylic paint, you actually add some water to make it more flowy. So what we're going to do now is you can take the lightest color. Okay? So now you have to think about proportions of your painting. If you put everything in the middle, it's going to look awkward. So we use the proportions of thirds. So if you have a line here and you have a line here, and a line there and there, you use the principle of thirds. And what happens if where the lines cross, you put your flowers, then it's pleasing to the eye. You can go and Google it. It's actually, the Mona Lisa was painted like that, with the concept of thirds. It just makes it that if you look at the painting, your eye perceives it and you see, I like that. If it's random or in the middle, it's not as pleasing to the eye.
So you should actually make just in your mind, just imaginative lines of thirds. So a line there, a line there, a line there, a line there. So
and when you
lines.
see that crossing,
yeah,
there you can start throwing your little puddles.
Okay.
And if you see that afterwards, you could see it's pleasing to the eye. It calms you down.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay, what do I need to do?
You need
Lightest
to
color?
focus and see the imaginary lines in your mind.
Okay, no pressure.
And just drop little droplets in the middle.
With this?
Just drops.
So there should be...
there you go, like that. Exactly.
And there should be one.
Yep. Okay, so now we've got that flow. So we want it to almost flow it like that. So if you've got that line there, throw one of these droplets there.
Okay. Happiness.
That's happiness.
Okay.
And let's do one then in the middle here, so that you can have that flow.
Okay, there.
There, yeah. So that's how easy it is. You just
that.
Just that.
Okay, I've never done this before, so I really don't know what to actually do. Are you happy?
I'm happy. So now we're taking the next color.
Which was?
Just red.
Just red. Okay, so this is lovely, Lorinda. Just red.
So all you do is you just pour it around. Like that. And even where you place the pouring, it doesn't matter. If you've got different droplets on the wet paint.
It actually should be imperfect because you actually don't have any control.
You don't have any control, and that's what's so exciting about this. Because what happens is, when you don't have control, magic happens.
This is Rocco a roll, but it also could have been Karima.
Yeah.
Tinky Street. Okay, now.
So just throw it
also
around. If you don't have to go.
If this doesn't work, it's because I did something wrong.
No.
Like that.
Exactly like that. But even that is very nice. The way it flows. Okay.
Just think mine maybe needs some more glaze.
But even that, if you don't have enough and you just space it like those droplets around, it doesn't have to be a solid ring. That would be enough. Yeah, you'll see.
Okay. And then around this one as well?
Yep. And see, each one's different. So each flower would look different if you finish with it. Because the pouring wasn't done the same. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, great. Okay. So now I'm going to show you what happens if you use the balloon. So if you use a balloon and you press it just a little bit like that, if I'm going to press it like this into, that is going to happen. It makes like a,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it moves the paint to one side, or if you just press it like that down, it's going to make a round. Let's do this one, just round. If you do it like, look at what happens. So if this is a more round, if you move it to a side, you can almost have an abstract flower. So what happens if you do it with a glove?
Oh, I love that. You can actually see the petals.
With a glove, because you've got two sides, you can actually manipulate it a little bit more. So you can do this and move it from one side to the other. So it's actually, if you do it like this, see what happens. I can go to that side and do that. So you can actually see those leaves are coming up, and there's the middle of a flower, and then there's the other leaves all around.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
Do you want to try that one?
Oh my word. I now for the first time know what Hammy and Joe felt like when they were the sous chefs. Okay, and I twisted.
Yeah, you just twist it down and lift it up. There you go. And then you go from that side, you can go up.
Wait.
So from that side, just push it down. Yeah.
It's towards me.
Towards you.
Okay.
Okay, lift up. See what happens.
Oh,
now,
that's gorgeous.
now you can see that can be the inside of the flower.
Yeah.
There's one leaf.
Absolutely.
There's no other leaf. But now, if you want to play with it a little bit more, you can also blow. So with that one, there's so much pinkish paint there. We want it to flow a little bit more.
Oh, there's more.
And that's why we always full of paint.
Yeah.
So what happens now, if you blow, the paint from the background, the divot paint comes through. So now it's not just a solid. That's why the contrast happens, because of the wet underpainting. There you go. So now we have flowers. So now what we also can do is you can start with a toothpick or a starchy stick. So I want to make the leaves more visible. So if you look at this, this looks like a leaf. So I'm going to take that and just draw the line. There I see a leaf, you see, like that. I like that one. That can actually be another leaf like that. We can make a leaf there.
Yeah.
So
I can actually see that.
Yeah. So you can take the light paint of the divot, and then you draw it into the leaves. This one is actually perfect. So we see a leaf there, in here, and that can be one, and there can be one.
Oh, beautiful.
This one almost
I love that one.
Yeah. This one almost looks like
Yeah.
there's the leaf.
Yeah.
And we don't want to fiddle
there's
enough.
one. And
Yeah.
there's one.
And what's
That's
beautiful is what happened there. I mean, you can't really get that with a brush, can you?
No.
It's awesome. This one we can make a leaf there. This can be its own leaf. And this can be
It's beautiful.
a very big leaf. Okay, so now we've got our flowers. So now the thing is with this, it needs to dry. Luckily, with Tjhoko paint and with the glaze, if you leave it for 2 or 3 hours, it dries quickly. If you use a hairdryer, just don't use it close. If you're going to use a hairdryer close to this paint, it's going to spread, and your flower is not going to be a flower anymore. So if you use a hairdryer, use it from up top and far away, and you can actually dry it quickly. But you can leave it for a day or two to make sure that it's dried completely.
Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to move this away.
You can move that away.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you what we did now with this. So if you can see now with this painting is where we poured the colors. So what I used was just red and this one and I think a pinkish color. Can't remember.
Was it Not lovely Lorinda.
It was lovely Lorinda, what we used with these colors. So what happens now is, this is where I used, that one I used a balloon, you can see is very round. And with these ones, I used the glove. So now, it was completely dry, and I could see some of the flowers I wanted to draw in. So what I did now is I used my big pen, and all you do is, you can see that the smaller detail of that leaves, you start drawing them in like that, and you just make your leaf, and you make it darker, you make the insides of the little flower and the side of the petals.
This takes some practice.
It does, but with practice it becomes easier.
Yeah.
And as soon as your eye see all the little details, and you see the petals, then it's easy, and then it becomes fun, because then you can create anything.
Because what I'm thinking, I'm not an artist, right? So I always look for easy ways to do something that's practical. But here you can actually see the shape of the paint, and you simply outlined it.
Yeah.
And created petals with a core, so that there's a center piece.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But also, what's nice of Tjhoko is they've got the most amazing stencils. So what you can do is you can actually place one of the flower stencils over this and just use the stencil to create petals if you can't see them, and then draw them in with lines. The other thing that I use my white pen, because it's very, at the edges, those edges where I saw my petal, I just drew a white line with a pen just to make it looks like the little flower flipped, the petal flipped. Then it's easier to make your dark line, and it looks like it was created like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So what happens now is, if you look at this is how I did my pouring, and I felt, something was missing here. So what you can do is you can start with drawing with a pen. I put just with my big pen, I drew a little flower there and a closed one here. So you can fill it in. You can fill all the empty spaces, and it doesn't have to be the drawing or the pouring of a flower. You can draw it with crayons or with charcoal, or just with a pen. Fill in those empty spaces with something else. You can actually use one of these of our lovely stencils. You can see this one has been used a lot, and just place it over there, and all the negative space that's still on the canvas, you can use the stencil and fill in the spaces.
So the negative space is where nothing is happening.
The negative space is where nothing is happening. I like the negative space here. I like it because then the focus is on here. But with some people, they like it busy. They want a lot of things happening on their painting. So you can just do a stencil. You don't have to do it with bright red or with green or black. You can do it with a white or a light grey, so that it just fits in with the background. But what happens then is it creates a flow of the flowers. And this one, I can create another flower there, just like this, with the drawing, and it would be perfect.
I would use tracing paper.
You can do that as well.
And put tracing paper, and then
print a picture.
Yeah, and trace the picture with.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's what I do.
Print a picture from the computer. You can actually do it on your pouring as well. You can trace a picture on your pouring, and then you just do the outlines like I did. You don't have to do it by hand and try to see the petal. You know what? Art is art.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you enjoy it and you love it. Nobody else needs to love it.
So something that you've made, okay, so yes, something on smaller blocks, but can you imagine how beautiful this can be? I can actually see the core sitting there, and a petal there, and a petal there, and a petal. How stunning is this?
And this is why I said there's never a mess with paint or leftovers. This is some blocks I had lying around, so there were paint over yesterday when I did the pouring, and I just poured this over. It was lying there, so I used all the paint.
To put this just like this on a wall with a selection of.
Yeah.
How stunning is this?
You can do that. Yeah.
Okay, but you also use the pouring for creating very bespoke art.
Yes. I told Nadine early on, what happened is when I was trained in my art, I was trained in oil painting. So it was very strict with very tight rules. So for me, it was lacking creativity. So with the pouring, it felt like I couldn't predict what was happening. It was like there was paint and I needed to make something out of the background. Yeah. So that was the challenge for me. And it was so freeing because suddenly I had to step out of my comfort zone and see what's going on there. Sometimes it took a few days to figure out what I'm going to do. But what was lovely of pouring with the Tjhoko paint is because it dries flat. So for me to paint over it was easy. And what's happening then is if you paint over that, you can paint over that with acrylic, you can paint over that with oil paints, you can use any paint. And that is the freedom then what you have with the pouring of the background.
Oh, that's beautiful. I want to brag with you, may I?
Yes, you can if you want.
Look how beautiful this is. And there she used pouring as a background and then created the hands holding the spot with soil on top of that.
And that is what happens then. This is done with oil paints on the Tjhoko paint pouring. And then the pouring, you can still see the pouring. So that is what makes it so exciting for me, because it enhances everything that's the picture that's on the pouring.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then Kaylee, let's move over here. So I'm bragging with Reinette-art. Look how beautiful this is, and there's also pouring, and Danny's there, and Tjhoko that she used on this canvas.
And shed of stone as well. And you can see where it almost looks like the sky is forming a storm. You can see it in the background, and it's all pouring.
It is gorgeous. And you need to explain what you've done here.
Okay, so what I've done here with this painting is I poured the background with two colors. It was white and Label's Light. I always use Label's Light most of the time for my background color because it just takes on any other color that you put on there and enhances it. So the pouring of my background was that, and then I left it for 2 days and then decided what I wanted to paint. So the rest of the painting was done with oil painting, and I used a palette knife. And then when it was finished, the sky looked dull for me. So I decided to use Danny's Day with glaze, and I poured it, and I actually spritzed it with hand sanitizer because I wanted something else to happen with the sky.
Gorgeous.
So you can see where the pouring started, and I let it run, and it wasn't what I expected, and then I started spritzing it with hand sanitizer, and it did the whole storm by itself. So that is the unpredictability that I love of pouring, so that you can actually do anything. And with this one, when I poured, the same effect, but I used some salt. I poured some salt in here, and this is what happened. It absorbed the paint.
Normal table salt.
Yeah, table salt, and it made a huge crust like that, but that is what I like.
And then did it dissolve in the paint?
No, it actually sat there, and when it was all dry, I just took the salt off, and then that's what happened.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous.
The glaze actually makes it so much easier to pour because it's thinner. So if you just use a very thin mixture, this pours very easy.
In South Africa, something that we really are is resilient.
Yes.
Yeah. We can fix anything, so we are just catching up where we left off. This is still the Thursday Live. I'm not sure what the date is, the 14th. 14th, yes. 14th November 2023. So Reinette showed us how to do this amazing piece of art. But what I'm now thinking, not being an artist and maybe not having the confidence to do this, I would use a Tjhoko stencil on top of my blotches of paint and use this as a guide to create different flowers.
Exactly. This flower would fit perfectly on one of these round, if we put it like that, round ones. Even if you draw the stencil and it goes over your pouring, it's art. It would look like it was made to be like that.
I think this stencil will be my go-to.
That would be
I'll show
perfect.
you once I've done.
Yes, I would like to see that. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to mention in terms of tips, advice?
Wash your utensils when you're finished. We've used Nadine's spoon. I've got a lot of spoons like this at home that's full of pouring and I can't use them otherwise. So wash your utensils as soon as you've finished. And the consistency of your paint, if it's too thin, start over. Add more paint, or if it's too thick, add more glaze. There's no right or wrong. And try and try and try again until you are satisfied with the consistency and what you created. The other thing that's also very nice with pourings is if you don't like this one, pour over it and start again. It's very forgiving and you can just play with it. Just have fun. That's the thing. And there's no right and wrong. If you created it, and then it's beautiful.
Okay, so something that I want to mention, tips, what I've learned today is one, pour as much as you want. Use your utensils, don't wash them, so that you can actually tell your family and friends that you need to come over for supper because you can't use your utensils. It is a festive season, so spend quality time with loved ones, enjoy the time together. And then another thing that I've learned today is that pouring is like a box of chocolates.
Exactly.
And that is also what life is like.
Exactly.
You never know what you are going to get, but take the sweet out of it and still enjoy every moment. Doesn't matter what gets thrown at you.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is Thursday Live. It might be the last one for 2023. I'm not going to make any promises because I'm on my way to Joburg to go and assist the factory with the last orders. But thank you for an amazing year, for the amazing support, for amazing friendships that has been formed. All the people that has been part of the Thursday Live over the past few weeks and that will still form part of the Thursday Live. See where friendships can be formed. Smile, make life happy, have happy moments this festive season and loads of love till we meet again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was very, very nice and I hope you enjoyed it and go play. That's the thing.
Okay, ek gaan nou baie stil want ek het 'n baie skoon garage met baie Tjhoko. Bye.